me see if I can hear you. All right, can you hear me, Tom? Crap. We had this working yesterday. No, I can't hear you. Darn it. Let's see. Oh, wait. Hold on. I think I know why. Let's go back to here. This. There we go. Now say something.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, awesome.
Can you hear me?
I'm trying to figure out how to make it. Is this little? I can hear you. Yeah, just fine.
Okay. All right. That's good. All right. But yeah, so I just posted the YouTube.
Okay.
So if you let me do this.
Do you know if there's a way each of your videos is just really tiny in the middle of the screen? Is there a way to blow this up?
So,
do you know, or
I just posted the YouTube.
I'm on my iPad. That's
Okay.
why I have a computer.
Let me see. Let me do this. All right. So
do you know if there's a way
All right, hold on. I have to mute the YouTube.
each of your videos is just really tiny in the middle of the screen? Is there a way to blow this up?
So,
do you know, or
I just posted the YouTube.
I'm on my.
There we go. Okay. Oh, you left, or I lost you. I think he. Oh, now you're back.
I can hear you. I can't see you though.
You can't
it says
see me.
Director not visible.
Huh. All right. Copy solo view. Can you see the other camera? Nick's
No,
camera?
I just see mine. Should I sign out and sign back in?
No.
Wait.
I just
see
did
everyone
this.
now.
There we go. I had you highlighted, and what that did was that brought you up really big.
Okay.
But now you can see everybody.
I can see everyone. I was trying to figure out if there's a way, because I'm on my iPad. Everything is this tiny little screen right in the middle. Like I can barely see you guys. But I don't think there's any way to blow this up.
Yeah, no. Not with the program that we're using. It's putting like all the little cameras there. Maybe on your end,
It's
you
fine.
might be able to change it where you don't see yourself. I don't know.
Just trying. I want to press. I know. Don't press the done button because I know that gets me off.
That'll mess everything up. Yeah.
No.
All right. Okay, and Nick just got here, so let me go get him. You can play around with some things, and I'll be right back. All right, I'll be right back.
I'm not gonna. Oh, let's see if I can put my little Boba Fett somewhere. I don't know if it like this. There's my mute button in case I need to cough.
Howdy, Tom. Sorry about the delay.
Hey, Nick. How's it going?
Just dealing with lots of fun stuff on my end. Sorry, brother.
Oh, it's totally fine.
Right. I'll be right there.
All right.
I wanted to put this somewhere. I can't find where to put my little. Remember the Vinylmation?
Oh yeah,
stuff?
You have a vinyl Boba Fett. That's really cool.
It's cool, isn't it?
It is cool. Look what we got. I got these. They're leaking.
Cool.
They're mugs type of thing. Whatever.
Oh, that's cool. I love that.
So I got.
Oh, that's from Trader Sam's, or where's that from?
No, this was from Walmart.
It's from Walmart.
Yeah, it was a Christmas thing. It came with like hot cocoa.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so my wife wound up getting me 2 of them. I have the regular Boba Fett, and over there I have for Nick the Mandalorian one. It's just like a silver version of it. But
oh, it's very cool.
Yeah, so
I love that.
Seeing your little guy looks a lot like mine, except the Vinylmation is much cooler.
Did you have any bantha milk that I can
borrow
borrow from you? If not, no worries.
Yeah, I can go grab one for you. All right.
It's been that kind of day.
I understand. We'll both be drinking. Guac is extra.
Guac is extra, isn't it? How we doing, Tom?
Hey. Good. How are you doing? Happy fatherhood to you.
Thank you.
Congratulations are in order.
I wish I could only do that and literally nothing else I have to do in my life, because basically everything else is frustrating me at the moment. But, such is life. Yeah, I'm dealing with annoying parent stuff at work. It's just always fun to fill in for someone who's been there for 18 years. So, but
jeez,
c'est la vie. How's life? Anything exciting happening on your end? Aside from, the thing you're here to talk about.
The new album's coming out Tuesday. I'm excited about it. I'm teaching now. I'm getting more students. Because I teach piano as well.
Okay.
So, and I got hired. I'm teaching at an academy, Pasadena Music Academy, like 2 days a week there. But I got to tell you, it's challenging, Nick. I mean, I know as a teacher, but I find teaching challenging.
Yeah.
I really do. Like, I find it fun, but it's work.
Yep.
Like, you cannot dial it in.
Nope.
I can't.
No,
I mean,
for sure.
And each student's, these are just private lessons, so each student's different. And I teach like 4-year-olds up to like adults.
Sure.
So the kids, the really little kids, are so challenging because it's how do you make music fun for them? You know what I mean? That they stay engaged for 30 minutes and blah, blah, blah. So, but it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it, but I tell you, it's work. It's a challenge.
Yeah, it sure is, man. It's especially in a creative field like ours, brother. It's just, it's chaos for sure. But
new respect for teachers, I really do. And I've taught off and on throughout the years, but never like at an official like academy where, you know what I mean? It's I got like student after student, and it's a lot of fun, but it's work. I'll tell you, but it's good. It's good.
Well, it's a labor of love, that is for sure.
Totally is. And it is.
Go ahead.
It's rewarding when you have a kid that actually gets, like when they play the scale the first time with both hands.
Yeah.
And like their face lights up. I'm like, you did it. Like they're so proud of themselves. It's really cute.
Yeah,
like that's the fun part.
It's finding the push between those moments. Like getting from one of those moments to the next can be a drag sometimes, but. Yeah, I've been thinking about, I don't know how much Game of Thrones you wound up watching, if you were a Game of Thrones guy.
I was a huge Game of Thrones fan, except for the last season.
Sure, we don't talk about that. But once I had the money, my next tattoo I wanted to get was one of the blades from Game of Thrones with the Valyrian Valar Dohaeris, not Valar Morghulis, but Valar Dohaeris, which means all men must serve. As just kind of like an homage to the bullshittery that is education.
That's cool.
So we'll see if that ever comes to fruition. But yeah, it's a whole freaking thing, man. How we doing over there, Rob? We feel good about going live here?
We'll do it live.
Yeah.
So
we'll see. Ooh, look.
Yep.
That sounds like good stuff.
That sounds good.
Intro.
Do it live. Okay, good. Okay.
Oh yeah, I updated the intro music, so you'll get to hear our nice new intro music.
Nice.
All right.
I'm telling my friend we're going live now because he wanted to tune in.
Yep, that's perfect.
All right, cool.
I was gonna say I sent you the YouTube link, so you can send it out to whoever you want to.
Got it. Thank you. I did get it. I sent it out. Cool.
Awesome.
I did repost the Instagram thing too.
Perfect. Thank you. So hopefully that'll help. Yeah. So it's like a double whammy for us today, and I'll tell you more about the double whammy. I wrote it a little bit in the Instagram, but we're doing. You're a very special guest today for our very special day. So it's a lot of fun going on here today.
Oh yeah.
All right, let
That's
me
cool.
just pull up. I just have one more thing to do. Pull up Audacity, and then we will be good to go. Record. Hello. Let me see the audio setup.
I have my here just in case if I need to cough. I know where my mute button is. It's there.
Got that cough button. Love
Well,
it.
that's
He's
a step
more
up
high
from
quality than we
yeah,
are.
we don't even have the cough button, so it's good that you have.
We got to
it.
do this.
Post- It's a post-COVID. I still haven't really fully gotten rid of it yet.
That's okay. That's perfect. All right, that's recording. It looks like it's doing its thing. All right, is everybody ready?
I was born that way.
We're ready.
All right, let's do this. All right, I got the right there. Okay. On this episode of Bantam Milk Podcast, Rob and Nick talk to Tom Ameen.
What a guy.
Hello. Hi there.
Intro music.
I like that.
Right? Yeah, it's got a little zip, a little extra pizzazz to it, I think.
Nick Emerald it. He took it up a notch.
Yeah, just one more. Just bam.
Bam.
Just a little bit. We're working on our other stuff. I actually have some of it written and just have forgotten since. Ever happened to you? Happens to me. Anyway, we are back once again for a very special episode. It's like a 1990s sitcom, a very special episode. I feel like we're going to talk about drug abuse or something.
On this very special episode. But
we bring in Tom Ameen to talk about the horrors of the drug cult. No, we have
caffeine pills.
Yes,
that was what
that
was Saved by the Bell.
Yes. I'm so excited.
And
I'm so scared.
I'm so scared.
Anyway, buddy, Tom,
Yes.
how are you, man?
What's
I'm
happening?
good. How are you guys?
We're
Thanks for
doing
having me back
great.
on the show.
Fabulous to have you. We are Bantam Milk Podcast back at you once again with a friend of the pod, Tom Ameen. This is his third time on the show, which makes him maybe one of our most reoccurring guests.
He sure is.
Aside from maybe me.
Aside
I
from
might
you.
be our next most reoccurring guest.
If he comes on 2 more times, we have to get him a 5-timer jacket.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'd have to design that first.
We'd have to design it first. Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Tom's ready for it. He's like, all right, I'm writing 2 more albums just for
ready.
that.
That's right. But we do have, I mean, Tom has been on before talking about several of his works. For those of you who have not heard him, go back and check out some of his episodes. Tom is a pianist, performer, arranger, composer, all-around great dude living out in California, writes some great music, and we've had him on in the past to talk about some of his Disney-inspired albums.
Yes.
He writes piano music that oftentimes has a Disney-inspired twist. He's got another album coming out here in a couple days, so we're going to go and let him just kind of talk about that for a minute before we jump in more.
Yeah, so if you're watching on YouTube right now, you can see it live 2 days before his album comes out.
That's
but
right.
this will drop the same day that your album comes out because it's also a very special day for us. But before we get into any of that, Tom, did you bring some Bantha milk with you by any chance, or just water?
I only have Bantha water. Does that count?
That works.
Listen,
yes.
man, so long as it's a liquid that you can imbibe, it works.
That's
for me.
right.
Rob and I are rocking
all I can handle
the
right
guac
now.
is extra here.
It is early for you. It is.
Yeah, it's only 1 o'clock or so over there.
Yeah.
Hey, I gotta say though, with our track record, going on at 1 and it being 1:15, that's not too bad for us.
That's not too bad. No, well, normally a 1 o'clock start time means 1:30.
And we got here yesterday to test all the bugs for the live streams. I think we're good to
just
go.
for you, Tom.
That's
just
right.
so that we looked like professionals.
The
I'm
only
very
person on earth who can make us seem like professionals is Tom Ameen.
Is Tom Ameen. That's right. Nick and I are both drinking Guac is Extra because I had 2 of these left from a while back when we did it. It's from Eighth and Sand. And Nick popped his open. And there's mine. There we go. We have some
into our Mandalorian mugs.
Yep. It is a
good.
lager blended with blue corn and lime. So it's just a normal lager with blue corn, even though it's not blue. But it had. We
did have a blue beer.
We did
on one of our episodes. It was not terrible.
It wasn't terrible. It was fun. It was interesting. Yes. So there we go.
Sounds good.
So as we imbibe in this delightful guac is extra, Tom, why don't you talk to us a little bit about the album you have coming out this week, and we'll go from there.
Sure. The brand new album is called Even Villains Have a Soft Side.
Sure.
And I thought it'd be a cool album to do, take all the villain music or some of the villain songs from Disney, classic Disney movies, plus a couple like theme park ride songs, and present them in a way that's kind of contemplative, relaxed, and chill. So it kind of like you're seeing a different side of the villains this
Sure.
time when you're listening to their songs. And so I just wanted to do an album that kind of embraced all of that. And it's a different spin, I think, on their songs. And I just thought it'd be a lot of fun to do.
It's a lot of fun to listen to, I will tell you.
Yes, I was just going to say it's a lot of fun to listen to as well.
As is all of your music. And I messaged Tom a little bit after my daughter was born in October to let him know. And this is still the truth, man, that you are just like, anytime your music's playing in my house, she is just like, all right, life is good. Let's just chill here.
That makes me happy. That's
yeah,
really
dude.
cool.
It's great. Like, we're a musical household. I always try and, get music going on for her. But, like, there are some things she just was not into. But there specifically so all I do is at home, I say, hey, Google, play Tom Ameen. And it's always, the first one is always the same. It's your version of Winnie the Pooh. And it's such a delightful freaking thing. It starts off with this really soft little intro, this kind of rubato thing. And then it goes into this really lilting sort of like nice, and it puts me in a good mood, and her too. So if you have not checked out any of Tom's music, please do so. There's already a plethora of great stuff out there, but all good stuff, man. Keep it up, please.
I'm glad to hear that because Winnie the Pooh is my most streamed song on Spotify.
Okay.
It's my number one song, and I did that. That's from an album I think called Magical Moments 2, I believe, or something like that. That came out, I think it was like 10 years ago is when that came out. It's been a while, but it's a nice arrangement. It must hit a real chord with people because it's my most streamed piece of music. So that's great.
Well, I'm going to throw out some fun facts for you because these numbers are like,
if they're not fun, I'm going to be upset.
They're very fun.
Okay.
Yes, we're going to be very jealous. Yeah. So I just went to Spotify and I have two things saved in my Spotify. One is Tom Ameen, and two is Bantha Milk Podcast. So that's it. That's all I have saved. And it's mostly because I want to have at least one listen to Bantha Milk Podcast, so that's why I have that saved. But I play Tom Ameen all the time in school to try and get the kids to calm down. And it's a fun game I play with them, like figure out what song this is because your music is slightly different than the regular one. So they have to like listen through it and then try and figure it out. And I will say the only critique I have of the new album is the kids don't know half of the songs on your new album and it's not your fault. It's their fault because they only know songs from the last 3 movies and that's all they listen to.
Wait, this isn't Coco.
Yeah. So I'm like, I know this song. I'm like, how come you don't know this song? And they're like, ooh. But, that's middle school kids for you there. But, yes, going to Spotify, the number one song, like you said, Winnie the Pooh, 5 million downloads, listens, whatever the number is next to it.
That's a couple 100,000 more than ours.
Yeah, just like a couple 5 million more than ours. Yeah, 5 million streams, which is very impressive. It's
amazing.
It is amazing. That's so awesome.
It's crazy. Now, that's for the life of I think that's like all-time streams, I believe. So it's over 5 million, but it's very humbling because when I recorded that album, I thought it'd be fun for people to listen to, but I think I recorded that right before Spotify or right as my music hadn't been on Spotify when I did that.
Okay.
So it was really cool just to record those Disney songs. I loved doing it, but it's really humbling to see that people really like that arrangement or like the album, whatever, and keep listening to it.
Yeah.
Because the best fans listen to your music over and over again, and that's what makes it do that.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So it's like people that come back to it over and over, and I'm really appreciative of that because it means everything to an independent musician like myself. I mean, that's everything.
Yeah, it's almost
really cool.
It's almost like if there were people out there who would listen to us constantly. We'd probably feel similarly towards them.
Right. Right. But they listen to us once and then they go, okay, I heard that episode already. I don't need to listen to it again.
It's like our friend Karen who puts it on in the background to give us some views. We appreciate that.
Yeah,
Karen.
thank you, Karen. Yeah, thank you for playing it while you're not even listening to it. It's very nice of her. Yep. Tom, I got and Nick, I have 3 trivia questions. Do you think you can handle these?
I don't know. I've not heard them yet.
Yes,
we're going to find out.
The first one's pretty easy. Let's see if you can figure this one out. What droid is the first character to speak in the original Star Wars?
The first droid to speak?
Yeah, that throws it out right there. The very first
droid.
Don't overthink it.
Yeah,
go ahead, Tom. What do you
I
think?
think it's C-3PO.
Correct.
Right?
You were both correct. Yeah, that was an easy one.
I thought you were throwing me a trick question because I thought there was like a weird other type of droid on that ship, but yeah, I'm pretty sure
I'm finding the easiest ones on this Star Wars trivia thing here. These are all for Nick, nice and easy ones.
Yeah.
Who does Han Solo win the Millennium Falcon from in the game of cards?
You got it.
Wait, what? What is it again?
Who does Han Solo win the Millennium Falcon from in a game of cards?
I think I know.
Okay, go ahead.
No, wait a minute. It wasn't Lando, was it?
Sure was.
It was Lando Calrissian.
Yeah, it was Lando. Yes, very good.
That's who he won the Millennium from. Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
And let's see. Okay. This one is the toughest one of the three. What long dead character miraculously reappeared in the movie Solo? This one, Nick should get this one.
What long dead character?
Yes.
Miraculously. Oh. Yeah.
I don't know.
Dead, right?
Dead, yes. Because in Star Wars, and what we discovered from doing this podcast, unless you see an explosion and
you have to see the body become
and
obliterated,
a burning carcass, then that person is still alive.
It's Maul.
It is Maul. Darth Maul.
Yes, indeed.
Darth Maul got cut in half, and then suddenly he magically reappeared later on.
Yeah, and if you didn't watch the Clone Wars, you were probably pretty confused by that
That's
reappearance.
why he reappeared. That's right.
But that's okay.
That is okay. Oh, while we have you here, Tom, I want to let you know what the second important thing is that we're doing here. Today is our recording of Star Wars Podcast Day.
Oh, yeah.
2023. Nice. For those of you who are listening 5 years in the future, this is our 2023 edition of Star Wars Podcast Day.
This is our fourth Star Wars Podcast Day?
I think our third one.
Third?
Yeah, I think third. Maybe fourth, but I think there's only been three.
Okay.
So, what is Star Wars Podcast Day, you ask, Tom? I'm glad you asked that question.
I was curious. I want to know.
It's the 24th anniversary of another podcast called Jedi Talk, which was the very first Star Wars podcast, which premiered way back on February 7th, 1999.
Wow.
Yes. So they.
All right.
So that's why we do it on this day, which this is why this is going to come out on February 7th, which is the same day that your album is coming out.
Nice.
So that's that. So Star Wars Podcast Day, the Jedi Talk is the very first ones to ever do it. There's over 100 podcasts participating in the Star Wars Podcast Day.
And we're like one of the first that come up alphabetically.
Yes.
So it's always nice that we're like right at the
It's
top of the list.
Very nice that we didn't name ourselves Zen Bantha
We
Milk.
should have named ourselves Bantha Milk Podcast, but with like 2 silent A's at the beginning.
The AA Bantha Milk
like
Podcast.
Aaron.
The A's, yeah, like a Bantha Milk
Podcast.
A Bantha Milk
Right.
Podcast.
It's like Solo, a Star Wars story.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
awesome,
we're supposed to add in hashtags. So I'm just going to say hashtag Star Wars Podcast Day 2023 or hashtag SWPD 2023.
Rob clearly gets how hashtags work.
I know exactly how hashtags.
The algorithm is going to fall all over that.
I'm declaring bankruptcy.
I declare hashtags.
I declare hashtags.
All right. So what do you think? Should we start talking a little bit about this here album?
Well, if Tom, if you don't mind, can I hit you with some news first? And then
Absolutely.
we'll talk about
Let's do it.
Because some of this news, the very first one that I put in this particular order, because I have 2 musicians with me. I wanted to know
who's
what
the other one. I know Tom's here.
Tom is here, and I don't know, somebody else.
And Trey's upstairs.
Trey's somewhere around. He's probably not listening.
Nick, you're too humble.
Oh,
yeah.
That's right.
Where is Star Wars news? I'm so professional, Tom.
Hey,
I
man,
apologize.
we can do anything we want the rest of the episode. We started before an hour, like after we said we would, so we're already like aces.
Can I show the audience? I brought this just for the
yes, show that.
Absolutely. Look at that.
This is my. Remember when Disney did Vinylmation? This was a Boba Fett Vinylmation.
Okay.
I thought it was so cool. Like I had.
Yeah.
To have
Where did you get it?
I think I got it online.
That's amazing.
Oh, that or I got it when I went to Disneyland because they used to have a big.
Yeah, they had them in the
store.
parks. Yeah.
Right. So it was either I can't remember exactly because I have a bunch of them that I saved. But I love the Boba Fett, so I wanted to bring that on for today's episode.
Yeah, which is totally awesome.
Well, we appreciate you bringing them along. You know, we always appreciate a good Boba Fett on this here. Well, a good Boba Fett, not necessarily Book of Boba Fett, but
not Book of Boba Fett. No. Oh, here, hold on. I think I found it finally. New social media, Star Wars news. Here we go. I finally got it. Yeah, Trey had when we went to Disney World. Trey got one of those Vinylmations, and I forget what it was, but his ears were clear because the character that it was didn't have the Mickey ears. So it was neat that they made clear ears, so it still looked like the Mickey Vinylmation, but then looked like this other character instead.
That's cool. Yeah, they did all kinds of fun stuff with those. It was really neat.
I really liked them also.
You Disney folk. I need to get down to Disney.
You do.
Here it is.
Here it is.
Star Wars news.
Star Wars news.
All right. So the first thing that I want to tell both of you is Star Wars: The Mandalorian's third season may sound different from the first two.
Uh-oh.
Film Music Reporter reports that Joseph Shirley, who scored the Book of Boba Fett, will compose for The Mandalorian Season 3.
Wasn't it Ludwig Göransson?
Ludwig Göransson was the person.
That's what I thought was,
Yeah, so this is what it says. In an arrangement similar to the Book of Boba Fett, Ludwig Göransson, who scored The Mandalorian's first two seasons, will provide the show's musical themes. The report remains unconfirmed since Lucasfilm has not released official music credits for The Mandalorian's third season. So I'm confused how Ludwig will do the show's themes, but Joseph Shirley will compose the music for The Mandalorian. What does that mean? How can you have two different people, sounds to me like, doing the same thing?
Well, that means that he can use the themes that was written by one artist.
Okay.
And then use his own music for the other parts of the show.
Yeah,
for example, like Jurassic Park, like the modern Jurassic Park movies, they can use John Williams' theme if they want, but then the composer can go off and do his own stuff for other scenes and weave those themes in when they feel it's fit, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know, Nick, how do you explain that?
That's how I would imagine. I mean, you think about, John Williams definitely has like a team of composers working for him. You know, it's not just him. And we think about some of the more recent Star Wars movies where, you know, we didn't hear, like it was, who did Solo? Was it Ludwig Göransson?
I think he did Solo.
I think he's been doing a lot of
the
the stuff that John Williams hasn't been. But, you know, John Williams is still getting music credits because, you know, you can't really have a Star Wars without interweaving some of those classic themes like the Force theme. Or, you know, even just the Star Wars theme every now and then. Yeah, that's what I would imagine. You know, it is interesting. You know, you can totally tell when it's not John Williams. You know, I remember the very first time I watched. I guess it must have been Rogue One, Rogue One. I think was the first one that John Williams didn't write the music for. And my wife and I, like the very first note that hit in the movie theater, we looked at each other and we're like, this isn't John Williams.
This isn't John Williams.
This is very different. But, you know, you would still hear, like, the Force theme play every now and then. So, yeah, I feel like that would make sense. We'll probably wind up hearing, you know, those Mandalorian themes that we've come to know, but he'll probably wind up doing his own spin on it.
Yeah.
And the Book of Boba Fett, I don't necessarily hate the music, except for the fact that they went, Fett!
Fett! It just kept saying Fett in the song. It was just Fett. So
but, you know, we'll see. I'll hold my judgment until I hear it, but I'm sure they're not going to do it dirty.
Okay. And then I have a new category that we're going to have to do every single time. It's called I Hate Rumors, but. And this is one thing fans might know is that Kathleen Kennedy has ruffled a lot of feathers in the past, but one source claims that she nearly drove Favreau off The Mandalorian. Favreau. Not only did she mess with the Book of Boba Fett, so they're saying Kathleen Kennedy is single-handedly responsible for the Vespa scene.
Really?
Yes.
If that's the case, then I'm fully on board with her getting out.
Yes, I agree 100%. If she'd said no, we have to have this scene and slow it down, it's going too fast, then yeah, she's definitely
Did you watch Book of Boba Fett, Tom?
I have not seen it because I have not heard good things about it.
You know, and we try not to be super salty on that, but you know, it is definitely the lesser of, in our opinion, the live action Star Wars things that have come in the past.
And there was this scene, the Vespa scene that we're talking about. There was a speeder bike gang of kids who had these speeder bikes that were tricked out, and they basically looked like Vespas.
But they went like 7 miles an hour.
Geez.
And they went as fast as Vespas.
Like
yeah,
the scenes looked so silly. They were like high stakes chase scenes, and they're like,
yeah. Like I don't know if either of you remember the movie The Office, but in the beginning when he's stuck in traffic and he looks over and the old lady's walking with her walker and she's getting faster than him to the place. I'm pretty sure the old lady in the walker was going past the Vespas. They were going so slow. So back to her.
Oh man.
Yeah. Not only did she mess up Book of Boba Fett, but she also wanted Grogu to reunite with Din Djarin before The Mandalorian Season 3. Kathleen got her way, leading Jon Favreau, to threaten his exit from the company if he couldn't get his vision for The Mandalorian Season 3 finished. Kennedy immediately agreed not to interfere, and that's where the rumor ends. While this would make sense and easily explain a lot of things, the rumor itself could just be mere speculation. So they're like, yeah, rumor has it Kathleen Kennedy messed everything up, but we're not sure. So that's why it's like in the I hate rumors but category. Valentine's Day is coming up. This is a very important one. There are two, this from Decider website, two very funny Star Wars Valentine's Day presents that I like. One is a Valentine's Day themed dog squeaker. They're little plushes. One is Yoda, and he has a heart that says, "Love you, I do." I was like, that's very creative.
Sure.
That's cute. I like that.
Yeah, Chewbacca says, "I'm lost without Chew."
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and then there's a Mandalorian one, and it says, or not Mandalorian, Boba Fett one. It says, "I have a bounty on your heart."
Oh,
oh, that's cute.
So those are cute, and then also Funko Pop. Are you a big Funko Pop fan, Tom?
I have a couple of them, but I don't. I like them. I don't
okay.
like them, but I only have like a couple. They're from The Walking Dead. I got them.
All right.
Oh, that's fun. I have a Daryl one from The Walking Dead as well.
I have the Daryl on the bike one, and I have the screwdriver and the zombie eye one.
Nice, that's a good one. There you go. I like it. I like all three of those. So they're making a couple for and I just closed a couple for Star Wars. They're Valentine's Day versions. They're pink, and they have like little hearts in their hands. So that's pretty interesting.
Okay.
This one is a more local news article. I got this in an email, and I want to know. I wish it was a different topic. And this is the Star Wars Force Awakens in concert.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm sure at some point in time it'll be out there in L.A. as well. But on June 24th, with the Philadelphia Orchestra, they're going to be playing the Star Wars Force Awakens live in concert on Saturday, June 24th. The Philadelphia Orchestra will play the Oscar-winning composer John Williams' music score live as the film is projected on 3 giant screens.
Sure.
It's at the Mann Music Center, which, Tom, I'm sure you've spent many time at the Mann Music Center, being all the way on the other side of the country. But it has a giant grassy area in the back that you can like bring a picnic blanket and stuff and whatever.
I saw Empire there.
Okay.
So they've done that several times. I don't know. Have you ever seen one of these live performances of a movie, Tom?
Yes, they are amazing because of the Hollywood Bowl every year. We have these.
Okay.
And it's so I can tell if you get a chance to go see one of these, to hear the live score played underneath while you're watching the movie, go see it. Yep. It's a brilliant thing.
And
it's awesome.
It's great because obviously it's a tactic that orchestras are trying to use to lure more audiences out, a younger audience that might not usually go see an orchestra. And there are a lot of people who are fans of John Williams music and would never go see the orchestra, but they would definitely go watch Star Wars. They do it a lot with Harry Potter. I've seen them do it with Lord of the Rings. So there's a lot of opportunity for that. I went and saw Empire at the Mann Theater, and what got me, and as a conductor, this is something that I looked at. I was like, oh, I want to try that. Is the technology they used, because you saw the conductor had like an iPad, and there was very clearly like you had to follow the cues on the iPad in real time in order to make it work and flying up. It's just really interesting and cool to see the process. And so if you've never seen one of those things, definitely go check it out.
It's an experience. We saw. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Robert.
No, I was going to say I saw when my son was like 3 or 4. We went with my friend Tom, another Tom from fan of the show. We took our kids, and they did the first 3, episodes 4, 5, and 6, all of the music from it. And instead of playing the full movie behind it, Anthony Daniels was coming out. C-3PO was coming out, and he was giving a little brief synopsis of what is happening in between the scores, and broke all 3 of the first 3 episodes down, first 3 movies down into like a 2-hour time frame. It was really, really neat.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I saw that. I do like it. I just don't know. I wish it was a movie other than The Force Awakens.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're doing the whole thing. They go through the whole one. You just happen to catch The Force Awakens. I'd imagine next would be The Last Jedi.
Yeah,
and then maybe after that, Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker. Yeah.
But yeah, I guess it's been a couple of years since I saw the Empire. So I wonder if the tour has a progression or anything, or if they just, this time we're going to do this one.
Yeah, my guess would be, like you said, they're going through different things.
It might be a licensing thing, too, whatever they can get the licensing for. I'll tell you, having to figure out licensing for music this year was miserable. So
sure.
I know it's a whole... Fun. No, I'd imagine you, of all people, Tom, know the stresses of it.
It's a pain. I know. We're very fortunate here because we have usually once a year, John Williams himself conducts
the Hollywood
Orchestra.
Sure.
So he's always there at the bowl. And he conducts like his famous themes and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's really cool because he'll encore with like Star Wars or something, and everyone in the audience has the lightsabers.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Like holding them up. It's really an experience. But to see those movies, I saw Jurassic Park, E.T.
Oh.
And we saw one of the Star Trek ones, but E.T. with the live orchestra, because E.T. is one of my favorite soundtracks.
Sure.
Of all
it's
time.
beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It's brilliant in Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
To hear those themes. So it's a really good experience if you can go see it. Even if the movie's like not your favorite, not the best movie that you might want to see offhand, the first one you want to see, but it's just an experience to go witness it. It's really cool.
Yeah, I in my music classes, I every now and then I'll do like the John Williams movies without music thing, and like the last scene of E.T., like if you watch it with no music and then you watch it with the music, it's just like incredible just seeing like the amount that it adds.
Yeah.
The music at the very end of E.T. is some of my favorite John Williams music.
It brings me to tears every time. Yeah. The last 15 minutes, the score of the last 15 minutes, and it's just
the build.
Awesome.
And then, it's a great one.
It's amazing. We're going to talk about two different record-breaking things here. One, the Mandalorian Season 3 trailer. The trailer broke a huge Star Wars record.
Okay.
The Mandalorian last Monday, or this is a couple days ago, Lucasfilm and Disney Plus released the trailer for The Mandalorian Season 3. The Hollywood Reporter has now revealed that it drew a massive 83.5 million views during its first 24 hours.
Wow.
Seems like a lot.
Yeah.
That's good.
The previous record holder was Obi-Wan Kenobi with 58 million views. So this went to 83 million over the 58 million. And Nick and I have been talking about it in the past couple of episodes. Like the Bad Batch is going on right now, which is a cartoon, which is fun. It's good. It's good Star Wars content. Every episode they're like retconning something and they're bringing something back and they're tying something together and they're doing a great job. But it doesn't have the same pull that The Mandalorian does. Like even just the trailer, like 83 million people wanted to watch just the trailer, which doesn't really tell you anything, but it just looked amazing.
Yep.
So that is like they're huge, like they're big thing.
Yeah, The Mandalorian I think is that thing that, there's a lot of Star Wars happening right now, but Mandalorian is the one that people are really ready for more of. And it's one of the first like completely new stories I think we've gotten from Star Wars in a while. They're not necessarily tethered to too much aside from, things that went on in the galaxy, but I don't know, it's new content. It was the first live action thing we were all very excited for.
Yeah.
And Grogu, Baby Yoda.
Yeah. Baby Yoda. Why don't you, and then you throw Baby Yoda into it, it's even better.
Right up here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So
it's the best.
Tom, question for you. There's this movie with blue people. I don't know if you've heard of it or not, called Avatar. Did you see it?
I've heard a little bit about that.
Yeah, one or two things. Did you see it?
Did you see the
I
new
haven't
one?
seen the new one.
I have not seen it yet.
Oh, I think you two are the only two people left in the world who haven't.
Look, I'm old. I cannot sit in the theater for 3 hours. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I have to go to the bathroom. I have to get up. Like, I can't sit for that long anymore, like, in the theater. So I'm definitely going to watch it, but when it comes to
streaming,
which is funny because James Cameron specifically is that guy who's like, no, you need to watch things in the theater, theater experience. And I'm telling you, after COVID, I don't like the theater experience that much anymore. I'd rather just sit in my couch.
It's the same. You know what always bothered me before COVID, and even still to this day, it's people don't know how to behave in the theater. When I go to the theater, all I see are cell phones going off, like in the bright screen, and it drives me insane. And people eating behind my ears and chomping on popcorn. I can't handle. Like, I'm there to see the movie. Like, I want to experience. I know I'm old. I feel old saying this, but
and they don't even.
If you see someone's cell phone light up, my eye goes right to the light. Like it drives me crazy. So I stopped going to theaters because it was driving me nuts.
And they don't even respect.
And now that.
They don't even respect by dimming it. They won't even dim it. Like they turn it all the way up so they can see it. And it's like, come on, like they'll be sitting right next to you and just checking Instagram. And I'm like, for 2 hours you can't not. Drives me insane. Well, I saw it.
It drives me crazy, so that's why I stopped going.
Yeah.
How was it? I hear it's good.
It's good. The story's okay.
I wasn't that big of a fan of the first one, if I'm being honest. It was fine.
I liked the first one because I liked it. You know, the first one's basic, and this one was like the same concept of, you know, the Europeans coming and taking over America and kicking out all the Native Americans.
Right.
Like that's the premise behind it, and I get it. And you know, we're evil, awful people, but sorry, but. Like in this, like you're really rooting for the Native Americans, you're rooting for the blue people and all that stuff, and so the first one was great. The second one, it was good. I was just like, okay, like the whole time watching it, I'm going, oh, they brought back all the same people. So for 5 more movies like this, it's just going to be the same.
Is that what there are? 5 more movies?
So
there's like a lot more.
Yeah. So he when he wrote it, his idea is to do at least I think 5, maybe 6 more. But he filmed 2 and 3 at the same time.
Okay.
Okay.
So now they're just editing and working on 3 now, but they said they needed 2 to make over $2 billion for it to be profitable.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, The Way of Water surpassed Star Wars The Force Awakens upon earning nearly $2.075 billion globally.
Dear Lord.
In doing so, Avatar The Way of Water climbed to the number 4 spot on a list of all-time highest grossing movies, sailing past The Force Awakens at $2.071 billion. At the international box office, Avatar 2 still ranks as number 4. Domestically, the film sits at number 3. Though, in this article it says, though Disney executives probably aren't fretting. So that I looked up and found a website that says how much all of these movies have made. So Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, domestically made $936,662,225.
It's a little more than the podcast made last year.
Yes, just slightly higher than that.
Just a bit.
So Star Wars is the number 1 domestic movie of all time. Now I'll go to worldwide because worldwide's a little bit different. Avatar, the first Avatar, made $2.9 million worldwide. $2.9 billion worldwide. Avengers Endgame made $2.799 billion all time. Titanic, also James Cameron, made $2.194 billion. And what I find interesting is that was in 1997.
Yeah, that was the 90s, man. That was a hell of a ask for 1997.
So 1997 it made $2.1 billion. Avatar's now 4. Star Wars, The Force Awakens is 5 overall, and that was from 2015. And I think even though people now say, you know, what is this, 7, 8, and 9 are like garbage, but people waited so long for this movie to come out that everybody went to see it.
Sure. And you know, garbage is a bit hyperbolic.
Yeah, garbage but depending on who you talk to, some people don't like it. Episode 8 was 17th by making $1.3 billion. The one that I find the best is where now I need to find it. The original Star Wars. Here it is ranked 108.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
It made $775 million.
Not bad for 1977.
But in 1977.
That was 77, yeah.
So, the cost of a movie ticket was a nickel.
Yeah, right.
If you ask my grandma, this was a nickel.
Aside from the fact that it went wildly over budget.
Right. So the cost of tickets was a lot less, and there weren't as many movie theaters worldwide in 1977 as there are now.
And also, like, no one had ever heard anything about it. Like, they weren't building on any hype that came before it. It was just, here's this new thing.
Here's this new thing. And, I mean, it was a huge hit, but still at the same time, compared to, you know, now there's just so many, and I mean, cost of tickets are so much more. A 3D movie is like $25 now, where Star Wars in 1977 was probably like $3 to get in.
Up to more reasons why we don't go to the theater.
That's right. So that's the end of the news. I don't want to bore you too much there, Tom, with all that news, but that's the news.
Hey, it's
now
all good.
Now for the Tom Ameen news.
The Tom Ameen.
The Tom Ameen news, yes. So we're going to do a quick commercial before we actually talk to Tom about all his hard work on this amazing album about villains and the softer side of villains. So we'll go to a commercial and we'll come right back.
You think that there really was a commercial there?
There wasn't a commercial there.
We
there
always
never
do
is.
this. We always leave space for a commercial, and every time it's just like silence, and then we're like, "Hey, go buy that product that no
and
one
there's
talked
no
about."
product there.
Yep. But anyway, the real reason, 'tis the season, the reason for the season, right? And the reason for the season is our friend Tom Ameen is here with his that was nice. No, put that back.
I hear it.
Here it is. Listen to this. Look, Nick's baby's going to sleep right now.
That's it. Me too, man. It's Pavlov's dog situation.
It sure is.
So, as we listen to this in the background, I would like to just go ahead and talk to you, Tom, about just a couple things about this particular album. Obviously, you have a couple albums out. You've arranged an awful lot at this point. So, what was your thought going into this particular? I mean, I've been talking to you for a while now, and you had mentioned this project to me a while ago about something you were interested in and excited about. So, what made you choose the villains? What made you choose these specific songs and these specific villains? The floor is yours, my friend.
Well, I've wanted to do this album for a while. I've been recording Disney music for a long time now, I think over 10 years.
Sure.
And I wanted to do an album that was honed in on the villains' stories, because a lot of times, we see what the villains are in the films, and they play a very specific role, and they're there for a reason, and we love to hate them and all that kind of stuff. But what if we've turned that around a little bit and see, well, why are they so evil? What happened to them? Or what, what's their backstory and all that kind of stuff? And I thought it'd be fun just to take the songs that they sang in these Disney movies and just kind of turn them around and just make them feel more chill, more contemplative, more relaxed or whatever. So instead of Scar and Be Prepared singing this huge number, we scale it down a little bit, to see what would that sound like if he was contemplating what he was doing. Sure. What I mean? What would it sound? What would Darth Vader sound like? What would it feel like to hear his theme more contemplative, more chill, like him thinking about, am I doing the right thing? What am I really doing? Anyway, it was that kind of a spin that I wanted to put on these songs and come out with a whole album. And I thought Even Villains Have a Soft Side was kind of a cute title for it.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a good way to present the music, and that's kind of what I did.
Well, it's cool that you bring up specifically, especially the Imperial March, obviously us being a Star Wars show, but I feel like, classic villains and especially Disney villains of ye olden times, it was very black and white. This person is evil. This person is good. Mm-hmm. That person is evil. Why? Because they're evil.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But the trend anymore, anyway, is to kind of delve deeper into why someone is like that or what made them that way. And you never really think about, we think about Darth Vader and we think about him being angry and we think about him, all the decisions he made, the bad decisions. But we also know that, like, Anakin Skywalker is still in the back of his head, angry and upset mostly at himself,
right? But
projecting that outward. So it's like cool to think about, all right, well, what if, in the back of the head, we did have the Imperial March contemplative of Anakin, like, however small that voice in his head, just thinking about what he did and whether, man, maybe I shouldn't have done that. So
right. Exactly. It's just a cool way to look at things. And I thought it would be a cool way to present those songs just in a different style and just see what people thought of it. And I had a lot of fun recording the songs. I mean, it was a lot of fun to do. I had a good time doing it.
So I think this is my favorite one. And I love how all your songs start and you have no clue for the first, bars or whatever you guys say. The first couple of seconds, you're like, what song is this? Before it actually gets into this. Right. And, like, this was it. Like, the first couple of notes, you're like, I don't know. And then you hear yo ho. And it's like, oh, there we go. It's the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. It's like awesome. So, yeah.
This was the first song I did.
Okay.
That was the first one launched. It was the first one. I used a click track and everything. So I don't use click tracks a lot because I feel like you kind of got to flow. I mean, they're necessary.
Sure.
But a lot of times when you play piano, I kind of just like to flow with it. But I wanted this to be a really nice little pop, fun, you know, reflective, contemplative song on the Pirates theme. So I love how it turned out. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I love how it turned out too, because I'm like, you can hear it, you know it's there, but it's completely different. Like, you can't really sing along to it the way you can sing along to the one on the ride, but you know but you know exactly what is happening as it's being played. You know, so it's a lot of fun that way.
It's a fun song, and it's just a fun song. Period.
Yeah,
sure. We all know it. We all know it from the ride and stuff, but it's a fun song to play. It's a fun song to sing when you're in the parks. I thought it'd be a cool thing to put on the album. I thought it was fun to do. So
going through from like the kind of the top here, obviously we started with Poor Unfortunate Souls, right? Little Mermaid. You have Gaston as your second track on here, right? I think Gaston is a villain that a lot of people are pretty familiar with anymore, especially considering the live-action Beauty and the Beast that came out not too long ago. The song Gaston is one of those like classic ones in the Disney kind of rotation anyway. We have Yo-Ho, A Pirate's Life for Me, the Imperial March, which is obviously always a win in our book. Now, this is not the only version of the Imperial March you've done, right?
No, because I did a Star Wars album a few years back. Yeah. And I did a more regular version, like a piano version.
Sure.
That I think got heavier then. But this is the second arrangement of the one. But this arrangement of Star Wars, the Imperial March, is different because it's a waltz. It's more I put it in a different time signature. So it's got a whole different feel to it.
I think Rob's queued it up.
I'm trying to cue it up, yeah.
Yeah, it was cool to do because I thought let's try this in a different timing. Yeah, and
I love this
with the complete
opening
different
theme
intro
here. Like, it's just that nice solo line piano,
and you're like, "Oh, this is a pretty song." It still hasn't hit yet until right about now, and now when you get it, now it goes right into it.
Then you start to hear it.
Yep.
I love the one feel.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, it's just that really nice because you can do a waltz a billion different ways, you know, but like this kind of semi-syncopated in one, like pushing forward thing, it just makes, I don't know, it's just a nice listen. Yeah, and it's such a different feel than what we are used to when it comes to this.
Yeah, it almost.
Yeah, I thought it'd be.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I thought it'd be very unique and different to try it in this style and see how it turns out.
Very melancholy sounding.
Like, I want to take dancing lessons now and dance to this.
It was cool. I love the theme, of course. So it was really cool to do. And there's a little bit of swelling at the end. You'll know there's some big chords there, but then I pull it back.
Yeah.
I didn't want it to get too crazy, you know, for this arrangement, but it was fun to do.
So what, like, speaking of this arrangement, like when you go into a new arrangement like this, especially one that you've done the song already in a different way, what do you, like, what's your process for it? Do you go into it with a thought, or do you, like, just start playing around on the piano and see what you like?
It's a little bit of both, because sometimes I have a song in mind that I definitely know exactly what I want to do.
Sure.
Say, this is what I want, let's go figure it out. And there's other times where it's like, it's a blank canvas.
Sure.
And let's start. This started out kind of as a blank canvas. I knew I wanted to do it really slower, and I did start it in 4/4 time, which is the original writing of the song. But then I was fooling around with it. I'm like, you know what, let's put it in 3/4 time or 6/8, whatever. Let's see how this works. And then I started to fool around with how that would sound, the different kind of chords and a little bit certain spots, and the pauses in the tune. I thought it sounded pretty good.
Yeah.
And I thought, let's go for it. But it takes a while, you know, arranging. Like, it took me about 2 weeks to do this arrangement, because you sit down and you work on it, but then you have to kind of go away from it, take a step back and just let it sit.
Right.
And then you come back to it the next day and say, well, I like this part. Let's work a little here and change this section. So it takes about 2 weeks for me to come up with, like, the final arrangement.
Sure. When you do it, are you writing down all the notes as you're playing it?
No.
Okay.
It's just I record it on Pro Tools, and that's it. It's all up here.
Okay. That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. It's not sadly. That's amazing.
That was my next question for you, honestly, is whether or not you were one of the, because there are really two different types of composer, I feel like. The kind that can see it all and the kind that can hear it all. And I've never been, like, I'm not a composer or an arranger, but I've never been the kind of musician that can see it all. I'm always the kind that hears it, and I I put it on the horn before I put it on the paper. So I assume that you're a similar way in that, like, you play it, you hear it, and then you go from there. So, do you write these down ever? Is there like a paper copy of each of these arrangements somewhere?
There is not, and I really wish there were, because people write into me to ask for them. Like,
sure.
Do you have a sheet music for your arrangement of Fantasmic? I get a lot about Fantasmic and other things, but I don't, because I'm not good at writing music out.
Sure.
I can read it. But I have a heck of a time writing it. I get frustrated. I'm like, screw it. And I know there's programs like Finale and stuff. I used to have Finale, and I used to do it, but unfortunately, there are no paper arrangements of these at the time. Now, I would love for someone to come and do them, but you have to have people that demand, that want to have that. But someone would have to come and sound them out, like at Alfred.
Do a transcription or something, yeah.
Do transcribe, because it's not my forte to do that.
Have you thought about reaching out to like Alfred Music and seeing if they're interested in that sort of thing?
I have. They did 2 songs of mine, like original songs, a long time ago. So I have a few connections in there, but I think they need a lot of requests for those songs for them to really take them out. I could reach out to them again now that I have more followers, or like more, let's say more streams on whatever, and say people are requesting Winnie the Pooh. Maybe can we do something? It might be worth a try to see if
you heard it here, folks. Write into Alfred Music Publishing. Tell them you demand Tom Ameen piano transcriptions available at your local music store. I will tell you, I would buy them. I would go and I would learn them. We just got a piano in my house. I'd learn them for my daughter. It would take me forever. I'm not the world's best piano reader, but I'd figure it out somehow. But yeah, I mean, nice. I feel like the music that you write is approachable, even not necessarily. It doesn't have to be performed by someone who's a piano virtuoso. It's all really interesting, and there's complexity to it, but there's also a simplicity to it that is endearing and catches us, I think, a little bit. Again, not to say that your writing is simple at all, but again, it's about the type of music it is, and just kind of the part of one of the things I think that is endearing about the music is that it's simple in its complexity.
Yeah.
As long as the goal for me is just that it helps. It what's the word I'm looking for? It inspires people, or people connect with it somehow. So it can be as simple as it can be like, I don't mind that at all. It doesn't bother me. As long as the emotional connection is there, that's what I'm trying to make with an audience or someone.
Sure.
Is the emotional connection in that music.
Yeah.
That's what's most important to me.
I love it. I'm not a musician. I took trumpet lessons for 2 years poorly.
Really?
Yeah.
What grade?
In middle school, in 6th and 7th grade. Yeah.
I gotta have you playing with the band.
Yeah. Like I said, poorly, and that was 30 years ago. So,
like riding a bike.
Yeah. So I know that I have to push these things down here, and I know I have to blow into
valves.
I have to do something into the one end over here. But what any of those notes mean, I have no idea. I'm pretty sure I could hit a D sharp really well.
I bet you could.
I bet I could.
Bet you could.
So
D sharps aren't easy.
They are not easy at all.
Not as bad as those E flats. Give me a break.
That's my second best note. That's my second best note. But it totally does connect, and I just love listening to it. I love how all of your music, you just slow it down and you just play it, and it just sounds so just relaxing and just chill. And like Nick says, he plays it for the baby, and she just like loves it, and it's just so soft. And I'm constantly on Spotify, and I'm going, okay, where are the rest of the Tom Ameen albums? I got to play through all of them because I just love this style of music. Yeah, I just love your style of music. I just love how you can find the song in there. You know what song it is, but it's not the same way. It's so much more creative because it's a different version of it, but yet I still know the song at the same time. So I just love that. I love that creativity that you have, and it totally connects with me. I don't care what Nick says about how simple it is or not. It's too hard for me, I'll tell you that. So
you know what the next logical step here is that Tom has to take really like calm and relaxing music and make it just explode it on out.
Explode it up, yeah.
Crazy.
Just like, lots of like stride piano and like fingers flying.
Yeah,
it'll be even Tom Ameen has a wild side. That's what the album title will be called.
You'll have to have like a mohawk. Like a mohawk wig as you're playing it. You're just like totally like hardcore. There's a couple of songs in the second half of your album that are come on, play. There we go. That are from older movies and even like older cartoons, like from the 90s and stuff like that. But songs that people, that like my middle school kids, like I said, they only know the last 3 movies. So I'm like, this is from what's The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and they're like, I never saw that. This song I love, the Bill of Sale song from Pete's Dragon. Because first off, that's
definitely one a lot of the kids have not seen.
No,
for sure.
I love Pete's Dragon. That was one of my favorite movies as a kid because I thought it was so cool that how they incorporated a cartoon dragon into the live action, and I was like, I want to have my own. I want when Pete flew away at the end, or the dragon flew away at the end. Elliot flew away at the end because he had to go help somebody else. I was hoping he was showing up at my door. That's what I really wanted. I wanted him to show up at my door. So when I first listened to the song, I was like, okay, I don't recognize this. So then I put it into Google, and it was from Pete's Dragon, and I was like, what? So then I played the original song. It's so different because the original song is so fast, and so like I don't know what type of style it is, but it's just really, really fast and really like Broadway-esque fast song. And then you slow it totally down. And when you know the original one and you know this one, you're like, yes, I hear it and I feel it in there, and it feels really, really cool. But the original one is so like mean because they are the villains singing it about how they own Pete.
They're the villains.
They're the villains. Yeah, they have the bill of sale for Pete, and it's such a completely different song. Like listening to this, the villains, you would, if you were to picture them now, they would have taken showers and brushed their teeth. Which in the movie they didn't do either of those two things. Yeah, be presentable. They're like walking into like a nice establishment of listening to this song, as opposed to who they really are, which are these dirty, mean, nasty people. So
I will say it has been a long time since I saw Pete's Dragon. I might have been like 4 the last time I saw Pete's Dragon.
Nick's probably younger. See, I'm older, so that was one of my favorite movies as a kid as well. Now it's hilarious because people either love that movie or hate it.
Sure.
And I totally get why people hate it. First of all, it's too long.
Okay.
The story, the villain, the words in the songs are crazy. I thought about it was either going to be Bill of Sale or the opening song of Pete's Dragon, which is The Happiest Home in These Hills.
Okay. Right, and they're all in like the woods.
The Happiest Home in These Woods or something like that. But the words in that song, they're talking about what they want to do to Pete, like time to railroad track, let rain beat him to death. Like the words are insane. Like
they're
it would
insane.
Never go today.
Yeah, never. No, not at all.
It would never. But because they're presented in this silly way, Disney gets away with it. But it's just one of those movies that people love or they hate. I only love it because I watched it, like you said, as a kid.
Yeah.
I wanted Elliot as my own. And but I always thought the music was great. Like I think the writers, the Hirschhorn, I can't remember Al and Joel. I thought the songs were fantastic. Even to this day, like Candle on the Water is gorgeous.
Is that what Candle on the Water is from?
Yep.
I can't even believe I didn't realize that. You're right, isn't it? That's a classic.
Helen Reddy sang it. Yeah, Nora. Yeah, that was her big song in the movie that she sings on top of the lighthouse.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a way to showcase her, I'm sure, back then. But I thought the writing was great, so that's why I wanted to do something from Pete's Dragon. I settled on Bill of Sale because I think it's got a really pretty melody when you slow down.
Yeah, when you slow it down, it sounds really, really pretty, which is why I didn't recognize it at first because I was like, what?
That is interesting, the thought that you wound up on that because specifically the melody sounded nice slower. I would have never thought really about, just a piece working better because this melody sounds better at a certain tempo, but that makes perfect sense, right? Like sometimes the melody is just going to lend itself, to a slower sound better than another one. So
Sure.
Interesting.
Nick started talking about this one, but it's funny, your version of this song, it starts differently than the rest of them. It starts right away, and if you know the original song, you know this song right away, right from the first couple of notes.
Okay.
Which is Gaston. Like, it starts right away, and you're like, this is Gaston. Like right away you pick it up immediately.
Again, very simple, one note, one single piano line, then add it. Certain things get added. It gets a little more complex, all very rubato. And Gaston being this kind of boorish, like over the top, swaggery sort of dude, it is just really interesting to think about this guy ever being reflective or contemplative,
Right.
Yeah, and like in this version of it, he's like you said, he's thinking of his actions.
I can see like a single spotlight being put on him on a stage.
Right,
He's just
exactly.
what have I been doing?
Yeah, what am I doing with my life? Why am I so mean to everybody? It like totally changes
Exactly.
it. This at the end of this song, he would come out and start giving everybody flowers and candy and stuff like that, and it would be like with the ghost of Christmas past, present, and future. He would be like listening to this, and then he'd come out and he'd be like, everybody gets Christmas presents, instead of being the mean guy that he is.
I can see that.
Everybody.
you get a Christmas
guest on
You
it.
get a Christmas present.
Yeah.
And then here you build up more.
It's a great song.
Yeah.
It's a great song.
And again, it's one of those ones that even I would think even younger kids know Gaston. I guess whether it's because Cinderella is still one of those movies that parents show their kids, or else because of live action when they came out recently.
Yeah.
People are still pretty hip to that sort of stuff. So what is Hellfire? I don't know Hellfire.
Oh, you know Hellfire. That's
from Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Okay. Yeah.
That is the big song that what's his name again? I just lost his
Quasimodo?
name. The villain.
Oh no. My wife is big on
the priest.
I
can't remember his name though. It just escaped me. But it's the big song he sings, which is it's a very adult song. It's about his
Monsignor Claude Frollo. Claude de Frollo, is that him?
Frollo, yeah.
Frollo, yeah.
It's about his desire to be with her, and if he can't have her, he wants her dead. That's the song.
Which is pretty dark. it's a little dark.
I mean, it's a very adult piece, but it's a gore. But I've said this before. I think Hunchback is some of Alan Menken's best work ever. The themes are gorgeous. The arrangements are beautiful. Like, it's great music.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the Supreme Resort guys, who are also on the Ears Up Network, they love this movie because of, like you said, the music in it is amazing. Eric, who's also on
Taco
Ears
Resort.
Up and Taco Supreme, he's on like every single podcast except for ours. He loves all the music from this musical, from the show. He thinks the music is amazing. It's a beautiful music,
but it's very adult. It didn't do well, but because it's very adult. It's a very adult film.
It was also like from what I remember, it was a new time for Disney animation at that point, because they were kind of incorporating some computer animated stuff in with their traditional artwork style from the Disney Renaissance era. But it wasn't one of those movies I watched a lot as a kid. But my wife watched it all the time, and she loves it, loves the music, loves the characters. But I mean, if you think like Disney actually made that story a lot more kid-friendly than the original Hunchback of Notre Dame story is. And even still, it's got some pretty meaty and substantial adult themes in it, with being dumbed down. Because if you look at the original Hunchback of Notre Dame, it is dark. Yeah. It is a dark story. And then we've got this one right here, which again...
Yeah.
Cruella.
This is a classic.
Dalmatians.
Right? And another one that, like, Cruella is kind of in the zeitgeist now still, because there was that new Cruella movie that came out.
Right.
Now, Cruella might be my least favorite Disney villain, because I'm a dog fan. As I know you are, Tom, right? Yep. I see that puppy picture in the back, and Rob is as well. We're all animal people. But, I mean, this is a iconic Disney song,
It's classic.
When did 101 Dalmatians come out?
The original one was in like the 80s, and then they had a remake of it. But
no, the original is the 50s.
50s. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yes. Yeah.
I think it's 50s, right?
Yeah, very long time
60s.
Ago. Yeah,
definitely
before the 80s.
It was a while ago.
I was watching after listening to this because I knew the song. I'm listening to it, and then I went to YouTube and I googled Cruella de Vil song, and it was in the scene in the cartoon version where the dad he comes walking down the steps and he's humming the music to himself, and then Cruella de Vil shows up at the house, and he starts putting the words to the song, Cruella de Vil, and it was really funny. I'm listening to that and then listening to yours at the same time, like a mashup, and it's really funny hearing the lyrics thrown on top of your music. It really adds an extra layer to it, which makes it even more fun, because you're like, yes, I'm not the only one singing along to this. Like this is the way it sounds in the show as well. So
this might be the song on this track or on this album that sounds the most like the original.
Yeah,
in that like it's still contemplative, it's still slow, but like the tonality is still major-ish for the most part, and it's still maybe this is me reading too far into the compositional style, but like it almost seems to me like the villain is like contemplative, and they're like, all right, I'm fine. I'm thinking about the things I'm doing, and I'm all right with it.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with myself. This is who I am. Love me or hate me. This is who I am. Yeah.
But it's still got a lot of that bluesy style that it's known for. It's got some of those minor thirds and stuff like that, and it moves a little faster than some of the other ones as well. Did you go into that specifically with that?
Yes, because I wanted to kind of keep this one would be really hard. It's not that it's impossible, but it'd be really hard to take out all those accidentals, the sharps, because that's just this song.
Sure.
Bum, bum, ba-da-ba. It's got that natural hippie feel,
sure.
Bum, ba-da-ba, jazzy thing. So I did want to keep that in there,
sure,
and just slow it down and make it a little bit more poppy on the piano part. But that was it.
Yeah,
that's all I wanted to do.
I think that's all it needed, really. And you're right. I don't know how else you would make a song like this happen without those alterations and the blue notes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Song. Just change it.
It sounds like I said, when in the cartoon, when he comes walking down the steps and he's humming it, it sounds like that version of it rather than a full-on musical version of it. It sounds like if you were to just play the humming notes, this is what you get, and it's really, really cool. This was difficult. Cool. This next song was fun for me, and I'm like, okay, I know it, but I feel like this is the most different from the original to me personally. This is from the Haunted Mansion, Nick. When you're riding through the Haunted Mansion, This is the music in it.
This I definitely did not know. This one because I've only ever been to Disney twice or so.
Yeah. But when you're going through it, the music on the ride is definitely a lot faster than this. So you can hear the notes in it.
Oh, yeah.
But this is the song that sounds the most different to me than the original version of it, which isn't a bad thing or a good thing. It's just the most different version to me.
Sure.
But like in this part here,
that's definitely a good thing.
I was going to say in this part here.
Again, I put it into a waltz. I changed the time. Put it into a 3/4 time, and then in the middle of the song, I put it into a major key because the song's in a minor key.
Okay.
But then I switched it up a bit to make it different.
Yeah.
I could just,
and that's what it gives its little lift there.
Yeah, it's definitely it's very fun and very calming.
Yeah.
And then here you can feel like I can feel I'm going through the ride right now, and I'm passing like the graveyard or something like that. Like I can feel it in the music.
Good. Because I wanted to keep that. I wanted to keep that in there.
Yeah.
It's like the motion that this song creates. It just feels like it's always pushing forward. That little section that you just had there, just those shifting chords, was just really cool. Harmonic syncopation, if that makes sense, and I don't know, it just really nice.
I don't know.
Thank you. Yeah.
As a musician, I feel like I should have more elevated things to say than just it's really nice. But it's just it's so nice, man.
No, it's all good. That's perfect for me.
Yeah. I don't know, Tom. I don't know if you're gonna be able to hear the voice now.
That is the time when
I can hear the voice.
You can hear that? Okay.
Practicing their terror with ghoulish delight.
So that's the YouTube version. So that's the version on the ride from YouTube, but that's the I forget who the actor is who's doing the voiceover on top of it. But like with your version, it's like so much fun. Like I'm on the ride, but I'm not on the ride. But I am on the ride, but I'm not on the ride. Like so, it was really, really cool. So I like when you do rides, because like movies, it has a different feel when you're at the movie, because you can see the movie over and over and over again, right? If you have it on Disney Plus, or back in my day you had it on VHS or DVD or whatever, you can keep watching it. But I was not,
Laserdisc.
and Laserdisc. Nick was a big Laserdisc.
Laserdisc, yeah.
All 4 of them that were manufactured.
That's right. But we're not fortunate enough to live close enough to any of the parks that we can go to the parks on a regular basis. Right. Or wealthy enough that we can go to the parks on a regular basis.
Right, that's the key factor nowadays.
Yes, nowadays, the cost of ticket prices these days. But so when you play a song, like, it really takes me back to when I was 12 and I was on the ride, and I'm like, yes, I remember, like, the Haunted Mansion the first time I went on the Haunted Mansion, or Yo Ho, Yo Ho, the Pirates of the Caribbean is my favorite ride, and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
So it really gives a different feeling. It gives you all different feels on the inside, all the feels when you do a ride music. All the feels.
It also is like almost a little wink at the Disney fans, like the people who like go to the parks, like those people like me who don't really like. Everyone knows Yo Ho Yo Ho, kind of, really, because it's bigger than the ride now. But like for like the Haunted Mansion, there are people who live, breathe Disney, and like those people, when they hear these things, they're going to remember, they're going to know exactly what this is from, and it's going to pull them in even more.
Yeah.
So as much as like your casual listener is going to enjoy it, those like Disney fans who are like, you're going to get, I would imagine, Tom, people who find your music specifically because they're Disney fans, and they're looking for more Disney music and more different types of Disney music.
Right.
And it almost seems like a reach out to them, like, hey, thanks for listening to my music. Here's a little something for you, That being said,
And I love that stuff too. I mean, that's what started this whole recording Disney stuff, was the theme park music.
Sure. Okay, yeah.
So I did a bunch of albums of only the theme park rides.
Mm-hmm.
That's what started this whole thing, because I'm a huge fan of the theme park ride music.
Yeah.
So that's what started all of this.
And it's fun, the theme park.
I love to do it.
The theme park, the music for the theme parks is amazing because you're in one section at a time for, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever. But as you move, like I was going to say Small Wonder. That was a whole different TV show. Small World. It's a small world. When you go, it's a small world. When you go from, area to area, the music just keeps going because it's on this like constant loop. And they had to come up with an idea where they could have a loop that isn't too redundant, although it is very redundant, but not too redundant where you're really hating it, although some people do, but everybody hates everything, so whatever. But like as you go from scene to scene, it just flows right into the next scene, and it flows, the same song changes, goes right into the next scene, and it's very creative how they were able to do that and how they were able to keep it going for a 4-minute ride and whatever. And then to have your different take on it makes it even more exciting and more fun, which I love.
Cool.
The last song on your album is this one, Mother Knows Best.
Mother Knows Best.
And this is I just love how it just starts nice and easy, nice and calm.
Now this is one some kids might know, I guess. This is what, Rapunzel?
Yeah.
This is from Tangled, yeah.
Tangled, that's right. So this is a fairly recent one. This is probably one of the more and it's a recent ones on the album.
It's a popular one for it being one of the last ones that was not computer animated. It's a very popular movie.
Tangled was computer animated.
Was it?
Yeah.
Or then maybe it was the first one.
Animated.
Maybe it's one of the first ones that were computer animated.
Sure.
Oh yeah, I loved Tangled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought it was a wonderful movie. I loved the music, and I wanted to end it with this. I was going to do this as a whole song.
Okay.
Like 3.5-minute song, but I couldn't figure it out because most of the song she's talking, it's voiced, it's not singing.
Right.
And I was like, I don't know what to do. I could pull the melody, but and I was like, I wasn't going to put it on there. I was like, we'll leave it for another album. But I thought, why don't we just do the main theme that she sings and put it like as a very ending, like a 1.5-minute long little ending to the album.
Yeah.
And so I thought it works kind of good.
It does work kind of good. It's a great conclusion to the album. It really
I think it
wraps it up.
When you're talking about a...
That's what I want.
Go ahead. Sorry. So when you're talking about an album...
That's kind of like...
I'm just going to let you go. We have a weird thing. Go ahead. I'll go after you.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So when we're talking about an album about villains, right, and the softer side of villains, and the last one we're talking about is a villain who happens to be a mother, right? and it's like, we're talking about being contemplative about why you're villainous, right? It makes sense to end on something like this where it's like, of course, this villain in this show would be contemplative because they really think what they're doing is like for the best for the kid, and they like probably think that they're right and they're doing what is right, and they don't see themselves as a villain. So I think like not only is it just the perfect minute, but it's something that people can probably relate to because when you're a parent, you probably feel like you're the evil one every now and then, and you're kind of have to contemplate, all right, should I have done this? How should I have approached it?
Right, because in her mind, she's doing what's best for Rapunzel. She thinks she's doing what's best for Rapunzel. Now, as a parent, you're always thinking you're doing what's best for your kid, and then sometimes you're way overprotective, and sometimes you're just flat out evil because what you're doing what's best for your kid to actually keep you youthful at the same time. Which is
that's not the greatest thing.
No, that's not the greatest thing. No. So it's a great way to end a villain's album. Yeah. So nowadays, there's very few people who have real albums or buy CDs or anything like that. Your albums are not on any. I can't buy the CD of it on Amazon or anything like that, right? Or I can.
There's right there for these. There's no physical copies. You can buy MP3s if you want.
Okay.
Like from iTunes and Amazon, but most people stream everything now. So it's on all the streaming platforms and stuff. But it costs a lot of money to make CDs.
Oh yeah.
And not enough people buy them anymore. So that's why I haven't done that.
Have you had any of your music put on like pressed on an album or anything?
Say it again, Nick.
No, on like vinyl.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I've had CDs in the past, but nothing vinyl. No.
Vinyl's making the reason I ask is vinyl's making a comeback, and I didn't even know like if I wrote music, I don't know if maybe I would want to do like, all right, I'm just gonna print one vinyl album just to have. That's my vinyl. I don't know. I didn't know if that was a thing, but that's probably cost prohibitive as well.
I know Trey, my son.
Yeah, I don't know how. Yeah.
For Christmas, he wanted a record player, and it cracks me up because he's the young generation. They all their attention span is like 20 seconds at a time. They listen to a song for 20 seconds and then they're on to the next one. So when he wanted a record player, I was like, do you understand like what listening to records is all about? Like you put it on and you just sit there and you just listen to the whole record. You don't keep skipping around and stuff. So he got one for Christmas, and then we went to a couple of old record stores and thrift stores and stuff like that to find some old records and albums that he could get because he wants to start getting a vinyl collection.
Oh boy.
Which it just makes me laugh because like he has, unlimited songs in his phone, and the fact that he listens to a song for 10 seconds when I'm playing my podcast or Ears Up or something like that in the car, if it's something that he's bored with or that they're talking about, he's like skipping through, and I'm like, no, that's not. You just have to sit and listen to things. He's like, no. He's like, they're not talking about anything good. I'm going to wait till they get to the actual topic. And I'm like, no. You just sit and listen to the podcast. That's the point of the podcast, is sit and listen to the whole thing. So it cracks me up. So it would be neat to have your own vinyl. That would be pretty cool to have. I'm sure. Who knows how many thousands of dollars it would cost.
I have I don't know how much that would cost. I mean, I have a ton of vinyl records in my parents' basement, my dad's basement, that I'm going to convert one day. So I'm going to get a record player and convert it with Pro Tools. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
I have old Star Wars albums, like where like for kids, where they're narrated,
really,
stuff, like just tons of stuff. But it's amazing how vinyl's making a comeback, because even my 18-year-old nephew for Christmas got a record player, and he's collecting vinyl records now. Yeah. Like they're 18.
Yeah,
what's old is
amazing.
It is amazing. So I think his number one album that he should have should be a Tom Ameen album.
I think so.
I think so too. I like that. I get that going. I'm gonna have to look into this.
So we got to talk to Alfred Music about getting some transcriptions out there.
Yeah.
We got to talk to someone about getting some vinyls pressed.
There you go.
At least one 8-track. I want a Tom
Ameen 8-track.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right. You can't go wrong with those.
So what you can do is the one record store that we went to, they had a couple of old 8-tracks in the record store. I think they were trying to sell them for like $5 a piece. I'm going to buy one and then just put a sticker on it that says Tom Ameen, because nobody has an 8-track player anymore, so they'll never know that it's not actually Tom Ameen music on the 8-track. But then you'll have your own 8-track of your
Tom Ameen 8-track.
Yeah, Tom Ameen 8-track. So there we go. So
it's the 70s all over again.
All over again.
Love
That's
it.
right.
All right, man. Well, so really quickly here, before we let you go, first of all, thanks for being here as always.
Yes.
Where can we? Obviously, there's loads of places we can see and listen to your music. Tell us a little about exactly when it's dropping, where we can listen to it, your contact and social media stuff. Hit us with them.
Sure. It drops on February 7th, which is Tuesday, and it's going to be available on all the streaming platforms, so Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music, all that stuff. And you can, if you want to go to my website, it's tomameenmusic.com. There'll be a link right on the front page, which will bring you to a landing page where you can just click wherever you want to listen to. You can buy the MP3s if you want on iTunes. I mean, it'll be everywhere. So enjoy it wherever you enjoy your streaming.
Sure.
And I'm on social media. Just if you just search Tom Ameen, I'll come up.
There you go.
Yep.
On Facebook, I know he's on Facebook. I know you're on Instagram too, right?
Instagram,
Twitter.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. Twitter, I'm on.
Twitter. Have you bought any of your
like
check boxes yet? You got to buy your different colored checks on Twitter now, right?
No, I'm not.
You're not a Twitter Blue subscriber?
Twitter's a whole other story for a whole other day.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No.
All right, man.
No.
Well, I got to tell you, this album is awesome, just like all of your albums are. Again, it is not solely for my daughter that I play them, obviously. I do get a lot of enjoyment out of listening to all your new music. So if you are listening to our podcast now, you should stop and go listen to Tom Ameen's music. It's on Spotify. If you tell your Google to play Tom Ameen, it will just start playing a playlist of great music by Tom Ameen. I'm sure Alexa does the same thing.
Probably start with Winnie the Pooh.
Probably, which again is one of the greats, right?
One of the
check it
greats.
out.
That's right.
Probably will.
But yeah, I mean, it's been a pleasure to listen to. Check out Even Villains Have a Soft Side, out on all streaming services on February 7th, Tuesday, February 7th. And tell your friends. Share it on Instagram. Share it on Facebook. Share it on social media. Tag us in it, tag Tom in it, and get the word out there, because I got to tell you, I know the algorithm for how Spotify pays its artists, and we need to get some plays going so we can get more Tom Ameen music ASAP.
Yeah.
And as always, listen, man.
I know
you want to send me some tracks? I will be happy to record some flute or saxophone or anything on top of it. I'm happy to. Let's make some music happen sometime soon. I'm happy to collaborate.
Well, I'm telling you, I already have thoughts for a new album, but I want to go in a different direction next time. I want to add instruments. So
there we go.
You and I will have to talk.
Listen, man, any time of day. Sounds good to me, man.
I can play a mean cowbell.
I've heard you can play a mean E flat.
E flat,
yes. We'll get you in there somewhere. We'll get you in.
Get me in. Even if I'm just a
kazoo.
Tambourine.
I can do a kazoo.
A kazoo. I can do kazoo or tambourine or cowbell or
tambourines are for girlfriends.
Oh, okay. Well,
that's what the tambourine is for.
That's what the tambourine is for? Okay, I was just thinking of what the easiest instrument is to play.
Triangle. We'll get you a triangle.
Triangle, yes. Yes.
We'll give you a little triangle.
Yes.
That's right.
Triangle.
Love that.
Ding.
Just at the very end of the song, Rob's solo.
Right. Just point to me when I just hit that one time, and
oh man.
And then I want all the credit in the world. A triangle
You'll
player.
be in.
Yeah, professional triangle player. We'll get you in the union and everything. Tom, go ahead.
Wait, we did have one question.
Here we go.
Ryan Best said, do you think you would ever computer a Star Wars Christmas album?
Ooh, consider a Star Wars Christmas album.
Ooh.
Tom is like, how do I answer this
nicely?
So what you need to do,
but yeah,
they had the Star Wars Christmas special from, I think it was like 1978 or something like that. And they had like 4 or 5 really bad songs on there. So you have to redo those songs, because if you want to lose all of your listeners, just do those songs only, and nobody will listen to the album whatsoever.
Man. I think it would cause a renewed interest in the Star Wars Christmas special.
You think so?
If Tom Ameen actually did some justice to the music.
Probably would.
Yeah, because you would definitely take it up a notch from where it was. That's for sure.
I like this idea.
There you go.
We just planted a little seed in Tom's head
I
right
like
there.
this idea.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Exactly.
All right.
So
Well, thank you so much for your time here, Tom. We always appreciate having you on. Again, I will say check him out, Tom Ameen's music on Spotify, on Apple Music, Google Music, wherever you stream your music, on
Napster?
YouTube.
Is Napster still a thing?
Yeah, Napster, LimeWire.
LimeWire.
Napster thing?
Oh boy! Don't do it on Napster. Do not pirate Tom Ameen's music.
No.
Yo ho! A pirate's life is not for us.
No. Don't pirate it off of Napster.
But go ahead and check it out wherever you stream your music. Tom Ameen, thank you so much for being here yet again.
Yes.
I think that's all we have for today.
I think that's it. I think we took up enough of Tom's time.
Yeah.
He did an excellent job. I hope.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. And
anytime, bud. You're
us
always
out
welcome
back
on our
here.
show.
Check all our social media out. BanthamMilkPodcast@gmail.com. You can check us out on Instagram at Bantham Milk Podcast, on Facebook at Bantham Milk Podcast. You can check out our Facebook group, Facebook.com/groups/Sacred Jedi Text. Check out all of our friends at Ears Up in the Ears Up Network. That's Ears with a Z. And from all of us here at Bantham Milk Podcast headquarters, including Tom Ameen, way over on the West Coast.
That's right.
We have spoken.
We have spoken.